At this very moment, as these words resonate in your heart, a divine force is already moving toward your urgent need. Perceive it, feel it approaching. It's no coincidence that you're listening to this prayer today. It's a divine appointment with your miracle, that desperate situation keeping you awake at night, that problem that seems to have no solution, that circumstance requiring immediate intervention. Everything is about to encounter a celestial power capable of transforming the impossible into possible in the blink of an eye, the thukken. Heavens are opening above you. Angelic hierarchies are already arranging themselves in formation. The divine power of miracles is descending like a river of light toward your emergency, no matter how critical the situation appears to human eyes, to divine eyes. The solution is already in motion. If you feel this prayer is deeply touching your spirit, write in the comments, "My miracle is already on its way," and let this declaration become the first step toward the manifestation of your divine solution. O Almighty God, infinite source of miracles and creator of unlimited possibilities, I turn to you in this moment of urgent need. With an open heart and trusting spirit, you who parted the waters of the Red Sea, raised the dead, multiplied loaves and fishes, and transformed water into wine. Nothing is impossible at your divine command. I contemplate you in your infinite majesty, recognizing that your power transcends every physical law, every time constraint, every material barrier that seems to hinder my current situation. Lord of miracles, at this moment in my life, I find myself facing a situation that requires immediate intervention. I feel the weight of urgency bearing down on my heart, the pressure of the deadline looming over my mind, the anguish of apparent impossibility oppressing my spirit. I see closed doors where there should be passages. I find walls where there should be openings. I encounter resistance where there should be fluidity. But today, with this prayer, I invoke your miraculous intervention and your immediate action. Certain that no situation is too desperate for your power, no problem too complex for your wisdom, no circumstance too urgent for your perfect timing. God of the impossible, activate now the supernatural dimension of miracles in my urgent situation. Suspend, if necessary, the ordinary laws governing material reality, and open a space of extraordinary possibilities, where your divine will can manifest in unexpected and wonderful ways. Create breach in the very fabric of time and space, a portal of grace through which the perfect solution can immediately enter my reality. Your miraculous power is not limited by the constraints that restrict human action. Your interventionist capacity is not slowed by the processes that delay earthly solutions. Your divine operation is not hindered by the barriers that impede ordinary progress. Where human efforts stop, your miraculous work begins. Where natural possibilities are exhausted, your supernatural potentialities activate. Where earthly resources run dry, your heavenly provisions abound. Father of all mercy, as the hands of the clock move relentlessly toward deadlines that seem impossible to meet, I ask you to intervene in the dimension of time itself. Slow what needs to be slowed, accelerate what needs to be accelerated, stop what needs to be stopped, initiate what needs to be begun. Time is your creation and responds to your command. Manipulate it in my favor in this emergency situation. Create spaces of temporal grace where events that would normally require weeks can be realized in days. Circumstances that would typically need days can manifest in hours. Processes that would usually take hours can be completed in minutes. Your authority transcends the human clock. Your dominion surpasses the earthly calendar. Your sovereignty exceeds the mortal agenda. Lord of divine providence, open now supernatural channels of resources to resolve my urgency. If funds that seem unattainable are needed, activate unexpected financial flows. If people who appear unreachable are required, move key individuals in my direction. If information that seems inaccessible is necessary, reveal crucial knowledge through unforeseen channels. If permits that seem impossible to obtain are needed, soften the hearts of those with decision-making authority. Your providence knows no limits. Your abundance has no boundaries. Your generosity has no restrictions. Like a river that always finds its way to the sea, even through the most rugged terrain, So your provision always finds the path to reach the child who invokes it with sincere faith, even through the most prohibitive circumstances, God of heavenly hosts. Mobilize now the angelic ranks to concretely intervene in my urgent situation. Send angels specialized in accelerating bureaucratic processes. If documents or approvals are blocked in some office, dispatch celestial messengers, expert in communication. If vital information must be transmitted, quickly position spiritual warriors around obstacles that seem immovable, ready to tear them down at your divine command. Order angelic assistance beside people who must make decisions favorable to my cause, inspiring positive inclinations in their hearts and propitious thoughts in their minds. These invisible operators work tirelessly in the spiritual realm to manifest solutions in the material world, act incessantly in the ethereal dimension to produce results in physical reality, labor continuously in the celestial planes to generate responses on the terrestrial plane. Master of divine synchronicities, orchestrate now a symphony of miraculous coincidences that converge toward the solution of my urgency. Make people, events, information, and resources align in ways that transcend every calculation of statistical probability. Create casual encounters with exactly the people who can help me generate fortuitous overlaps of our lives. Circumstances that open passages where before there were only walls. Produce spontaneous intuitions that reveal solutions never considered before. These synchronicities are not anonymous chances but divine signatures in the fabric of events, not meaningless coincidences but indications of your hand operating in my reality. Not fortuitous occurrences but tangible manifestations of your perfect orchestration, Lord of time and seasons. I declare with faith that this is the designated moment for my miracle, not tomorrow, not in a week, not in an indefinite future, but now. In this precise instant of urgent need, as you said in your word, that there is a time for everything under heaven, I proclaim that this is the time of my divine help, the season of my supernatural deliverance, the hour of my celestial intervention, the kairos, the divine moment perfectly synchronized with human need, is manifesting in my situation. Eternity is touching temporality. The supernatural is intersecting the natural. The unlimited is penetrating the limited. And in this sacred conjunction, space is created for the miracle I urgently need. God of infinite wisdom, reveal now creative solutions that transcend conventional thinking, innovative approaches that surpass ordinary logic, divine strategies that exceed traditional paradigms. Often the miracle is not just an external intervention, but also an internal illumination, a sudden understanding that completely changes the perspective on the situation. Open my spiritual eyes to see what physical eyes cannot perceive. Expand my mind to conceive possibilities that rational intellect cannot imagine. Enlarge my heart to welcome solutions that human emotions might resist. Your wisdom does not follow the predictable paths of earthly reasoning, but moves on surprising trajectories that connect seemingly unrelated points, creating completely unexpected resolution patterns. Lord of supernatural peace, while I wait the visible manifestation of the miracle I am invoking, infuse me with that divine calm that transcends all human understanding, that celestial tranquility that surpasses all earthly rationality, that spiritual serenity that exceeds all natural logic. May I maintain a paradoxical peace in the midst of the storm, an incongruous quiet in the center of chaos, an illogical stability at the epicenter of urgency. This peace is not denial of the critical reality, but affirmation of a superior reality. Not ignorance of the gravity of the situation, but awareness of your sovereignty over the situation. Not passivity in the face of emergency, but active trust in your response to the emergency. God of the impossible, remove now every spiritual barrier that could hinder the free flow of your miraculous power into my situation. If there are blocks due to lack of faith, dissolve them with an infusion of divine trust. If obstacles exist created by deep-rooted fears, dissolve them with a wave of heavenly courage. If resistances are present generated by persistent doubts, Sweep them away with a gust of spiritual certainty. The miracle needs an open channel to manifest. And that channel is me, with my faith, my expectation, my receptivity. While you work from the outside through circumstances and people, you also work from within through my awareness and disposition. This collaboration between your divine initiative and my human response creates the perfect conjunction for the realization of it all. The necessary miracle, Lord of transformation. While I invoke your miraculous action on this urgent situation, I also ask you to work an inner miracle in me, transform my perception of the impossible, my relationship with emergency, my response to pressure. May this experience of extreme necessity become not only a moment of external solution, but also of internal revolution, a turning point in my understanding of your power, a watershed moment in my experience of your faithfulness, a milestone in my journey of faith. The greatest miracle is not just the resolution of the contingent crisis, but the permanent transformation of my ability to face future crises with an expanded awareness of your infinite possibilities, God of second chances. If this urgency is somehow connected to past mistakes, missed opportunities, wrong decisions, I ask you not only to resolve the current situation, but to redeem those elements of the past, transforming them from potential sources of ruin into platforms for restoration. Your redemptive power doesn't simply erase mistakes, but reinvents them as foundations for new constructions. Doesn't merely eliminate failures, but reuses them as materials for new successes. Doesn't just remove scars, but transforms them into testimonies of healing in this miraculous perspective. Even the most desperate urgency can become the occasion for a divine work that not only saves from imminent disaster, but elevates to levels of blessing never imagined before. Lord of Lords. Manifestation. Accelerate. Now the process of crystallizing the miracle in the material plane, what is already complete in the spiritual realm, where past, present, and future coexist simultaneously, is already materializing in the physical realm, where events unfold in temporal sequence. I am seeing, with the eyes of faith, the first signs of this manifestation. Subtle changes in circumstances, slight shifts in situations, small modifications in conditions. These initial signs are not imagination, but real perceptions of your intervention and progress. Not fantasy, but concrete testimonies of your operation and action. Not suggestion, but tangible evidence of the transformation you are realizing in my urgency. God of details. While you work the macroscopic miracle I ask you to care for every minor collateral aspect of the situation. May the solution not generate new problems. May the answer not create new questions. May the resolution not produce new complications. Your miraculous intervention is holistic and complete. It considers every facet, foresees every ramification, anticipates every consequence. Where the human response might solve one problem while inadvertently creating others, your divine solution harmonizes all elements in a perfect symphony of integral resolution. This completeness is the hallmark of the true miracle. It leaves no unresolved issues, overlooks no hidden corners, ignores no secondary dimensions of the problem. Lord of open doors. While I invoke your miracle for this specific urgency, I ask you to expand your work beyond the boundaries of my immediate request. May this divine intervention not be an isolated event, but the beginning of a cascade of blessings. Not a punctual action, but the initiation of a sequence of favors. Not a single solution, but the inauguration of a season of abundance. Like a stone thrown into a pond, generates concentric waves that expand well beyond the point of impact. So this miracle generates positive repercussions that extend well beyond the initial emergency situation, touching areas of my life that I haven't even mentioned in this prayer. God, out of perfect timing, calibrate with divine precision the exact moment of the visible manifestation of the miracle I am invoking, not a second too early, before all necessary conditions are aligned, not an instant too late, after the situation has precipitated beyond the critical point. Your celestial synchronization is impeccable. Your divine timing is infallible. Your cosmic coordination is perfect, like an orchestra conductor who knows exactly when each instrument must enter to create the most sublime harmony. You know exactly when each element must activate to produce the most effective solution. This temporal precision is an integral part of the miracle. Not just what happens, but when it happens at the optimal moment of maximum effectiveness and minimum resistance. Lord of visible miracles, make the supernatural solution you are working in my urgency so clearly divine, so evidently celestial, so unequivocally supernatural that no one can attribute it to coincidence, to luck, to chance. May it bear the unmistakable imprint of your hand, the undeniable seal of your action, the indisputable mark of your intervention. Not for personal glorification do I ask this, but so that many may see, believe, and hope. A miracle that bears the divine signature becomes testimony that inspires faith in others, proof that awakens hope in many, evidence that ignites trust in many. The visibility of the supernatural in my situation generates a multiplier effect that extends the impact well beyond my individual experience. God of unlimited possibilities, as the miracle I am invoking approaches its complete manifestation, prepare me to receive not only what I am asking for, but also what I haven't even dared to imagine. Your response often transcends the request. Your solution frequently surpasses the expectation. Your intervention habitually exceeds the anticipation, as you said in your word. You can do immeasurably more than we ask or imagine. Open my heart and mind to welcome that immeasurably more that accompanies the essential miracle. This openness to the unexpected is emptiness itself, an act of advanced faith, not only believing that you will do what I ask, but trusting that you will also do what I didn't know to ask for, but need. Lord of anticipatory gratitude, I thank you now for the miracle you are already working, for the intervention you are already implementing, for the solution you are already manifesting. I thank you not with the retroactive gratitude of one who has already seen the result, but with the proactive gratitude of one who sees with the eyes of faith what has yet to appear in the visible. This anticipatory gratitude is not presumption, but deep trust. Not demand, but sincere certainty. Not manipulation, but authentic recognition of your faithfulness that has never failed and never will fail. Thanksgiving, offered before the visible manifestation of the miracle, is the highest expression of faith. It honors your word as more real than apparent circumstances, recognizes your promise as more tangible than contrary evidence. God of testimony, when the miracle I am invoking has fully manifested, give me the courage and opportunities to share this experience of divine intervention. May I faithfully recount what you have done, accurately testify how you have acted, precisely describe what you have worked. The testimony of the miracle extends the effect of your work well beyond my personal situation. It becomes a seed of faith that germinates in other hearts, a catalyst of hope that activates in other lives, tangible proof that nourishes trust in other souls. When I share the story of your miraculous intervention, I am not simply narrating a past event, but proclaiming a perennial truth. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. The God who performed miracles continues to perform miracles for anyone who invokes him with sincere faith. Lord of the peace that surpasses all understanding, as this prayer for urgent intervention draws to a close, seal in my heart the deep certainty that you have already begun to move in response to my cry. I already feel the tremor of change in the spiritual atmosphere. I already perceive the movement of the solution in the invisible fabric of events. I already sense the vibration of the miracle approaching manifestation. This perception is not self-suggestion, but awakened spiritual sensitivity. Not wishful thinking, but activated divine intuition. Not denial of reality, but recognition of a superior reality that is about to intersect the visible one. I surrender to this paradoxical peace, calm in the midst of the storm, tranquility in the center of crisis, serenity in the heart of urgency, knowing it is the surest sign of your presence operating in my situation. With immense gratitude in my heart, I thank you, O God of miracles. For listening to this urgent prayer, I thank you for the doors you have already begun to open, for the obstacles you have already begun to remove, for the solutions you have already set in motion. Your response is never late. It always arrives at the perfect moment, not a second too early, not an instant too late. Your solution is never partial. It resolves completely, without leaving problematic residues or negative consequences. Your miracle is never ordinary. It always bears the distinctive imprint of your majesty, the recognizable sign of your divinity, the unmistakable mark of your supernaturalness. From this moment forward, I walk in the absolute certainty that my urgency is in your hands, the best possible hands, the most powerful imaginable hands, the most loving conceivable hands. What seemed impossible to human eyes is already becoming possible through your divine intervention. That seemingly immovable mountain is already trembling at tea. The sound of my faith-filled prayer, that door that seemed hermetically sealed, is already beginning to open under the pressure of your omnipotent finger. With this trust in my heart, I continue my journey, no longer crushed by the weight of emergency, but lifted by the wings of certain hope. No longer paralyzed by the anguish of the impossible, but energized by the excitement of the imminent miracle. No longer defined by my urgency, but transformed by your divine response that is already manifesting in my reality. If this prayer has touched your soul, know that something powerful has already begun to move in the spiritual world. But your journey of miracles has just begun. The next prayer, which is appearing on your screen right now, might be the next step to unlock even more divine interventions in your life. Click and continue to receive what heaven has prepared to completely resolve every urgent situation of yours.